So we started, we had a great check-in with 24/7 Sports national college football reporter Matt Zenitz on CBS Sports HQ as part of our pregame show. And it was, sort of Quinn Ewers related, the idea that, Quinn, could be coming back to Texas. What does that mean? And then he throws for I don't know, half a mile in yards against Oklahoma State, gets a little bit hurt. That was scary, but then comes, back into the game. We started the day with style points. 49-21 is the final for the Texas Longhorns against Oklahoma State. Bud, this Longhorns team gave us a little bit of everything because I thought their defense was feisty. T'Vondre Sweat and Byron Murphy were unblockable once again. Sweat even jumps in with a touchdown reception, hits the Heisman pose. Hello. That was awesome. What do you see out of the Longhorns?
So I was on with Lugan Bill and Roddy Jones on Sirius the other day. And I said something that kind of made him stop. And I said, when it comes to playoff time, I jack everybody's rating to what their ceiling is. And I have Texas as the number 2 ceiling in the country. They don't always play like that, but I think their ceiling is better than just about everybody's. Georgia being the one team that I think has a better ceiling. They played kind of to that ceiling today, right? They have a lot of really, really good players. They have an elite play caller in Steve Sarkisian. They don't always play to this level, but their A game, it's like facing a good pitcher, right? Who's got a lot of good stuff. If he's around the plate, you're probably not beating him. If he's walking everybody and they're sloppy, you may have a chance. They created 342 yards after the catch today. 342 after the catch. Mm-hmm. I think 3/4 of Quinn Ewers' passes were behind the line of scrimmage, and it didn't matter because they formation and motioned the hell out of the Oklahoma State defense. And I think Brian Nardo, the Oklahoma State D coordinator, I thought he'd done a tremendous job all year. Oak State loses their best linebacker and their best corner in the first quarter. I'm like, oh, man. It's time to do some live betting, gentlemen, because I'm pretty sure I've watched a lot of this Oklahoma State team. I've sweated this 60-1 future the whole time, and I am really certain here they don't have depth that could play. And Texas looked much faster, and they just never adjusted to it, right? It was they smoked them kind of running 3 or 4 of the same plays all the time, different window dressing, but the same concept. Sure. You can't run with us to the flat. We're going to catch a ball, and we're going to turn it upfield before you can get to us.
Well, all right, so the script was flawless, right?
Yeah.
Ewers starts 12 for 12, 14 for 15. He has 3 touchdown passes before the time anyone's finished their lunch. You look at them through the first 17 plays, they were averaging 11.5 yards per play. Then things slowed, right? You got off the script. I thought that to the point of everything we've said about Steve Sarkisian this year, he had dialed in exactly what he wanted. He had gotten on the same page as his quarterback, and they were in sync and executed it extremely well at a high level. And Oklahoma State, we talked about it. They did a good job. We were like, hey, that Oklahoma State offensive line did a good job of blocking BYU. Couldn't block Texas at all. At all. The defense was strong too. Sorry, Tom. I didn't mean to jump ahead of you there, but I thought that start was just representative of a group that was well prepared to go out and play one of its best football games, to Bud's point, as close to its ceiling as it was going to get there for the first quarter, 15, 20, 25 minutes of the game.
Yeah, the thing about Oklahoma State this year is you tend to know quick what kind of game you're going to get.
The UCF game,
that for example? So true.
If they're in it at the end of the first quarter, they're going to be in it all 4 quarters. If they're not out of it after the first 5 minutes, they're not going to battle their way back. And that's exactly, this game was done quick.
You see Ollie Gordon banging his helmet on the sideline. Oklahoma State was,
they knew,
they were mad.
They knew they had no shot in hell winning this game after 5 minutes. But just looking at this, we talk about the script, Oklahoma State's offense, all right, and this is according to the stat broadcast, they had 5 big plays for 140 yards. Texas had 22 for 478 yards. Texas was 10 of 16 on third down, despite the average distance being 7 yards. And then the one thing that I've hammered Texas for all season long, they can't finish drives. Texas had 5 red zone possessions today. Texas scored 5 touchdowns on them. They were perfect. This was just from start to finish a decimation by a team that, like you're saying, but has a very high ceiling when they are at their best. And they knew, or at least they played like winning will be good for us, but we kind of need to make a point in the process. And I think that they checked everything they needed to do off the board, or at least every goal that they had going into this game today. Check. We accomplished it. And it was just, I mean, I put the MAC championship game on the main screen pretty quick this morning.
Yeah. Shout out Kelvin Banks, just moving people. That was excellent. If we want to nitpick this slightly, I don't think the Texas secondary is great. And the way they play one-on-ones is not, I don't know if you run up against a really good passing attack, how that looks. They in the first probably 20 minutes, Oklahoma State really challenged them deep, and they caught one. They got one PI. They got another one that really should have been a PI. And in watching it, I was like, oh man, this is going to change this game, because like Oklahoma State sees this is what Texas is giving them. They take it. It's a pretty bad non-PI call, and then they have to punt, and immediately they get the fair catch interference, right? Or face mask, whatever it was. It was like a face mask. Okay, this is not a good script for Oklahoma State. So, could a better team exploit Texas by throwing the football down the field? I think that's where we're going to be looking to. Well, I guess I just gave away what I think we'll be talking about for the next month with this playoff, assuming Texas makes it in, which I think
like basically the idea that if Texas plays Washington,
yeah, right. Like maybe there's some stuff.
I mean, of all the teams we're talking about, there is not a passing attack like Washington's.
Right.
Like throw Alabama in there too, sure, but like top
Definitely
5 teams.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like throw whatever playoff combination you throw out there. If you are concerned about your pass defense, then there is a monster that is 13-0 that will be in the playoff that you do not want to face.
Because you're not going to run on those guys very well.
So Tom and I have to. Have you turned your Heisman ballot in yet, Tom?
Mm-mm.
So we're sworn. I haven't either. We're sworn to secrecy on our Heisman ballot. I do not think we're sworn to secrecy on our Biletnikoff ballot, right?
I don't know.
You don't?
I don't know. I don't think we are.
I don't think we are either. So I hope I'm not going to get it taken away. I won't specifically say it, but I was like really sitting down with it. And I was like, shoot, man. I think Rome Odunze might be the best wide receiver in college football this year.